Street stock main feature, the best 25 street stocks on the day. Atlanta, that's Rick Stein.
Talk about a points race.
This is it, too. We have a battle here. We have two cars here, the 32 car of Peter Henderson. He went into the day leading the points race by 16 points, which is actually 8 positions on the racetrack. Henderson didn't fare as well in the dash for cash as Elaine Vance did. Elaine Vance was 16 points behind Henderson going in today, and I believe she's probably gained 4 to 5 points on him in the heat race. So we're probably down to, what, 6 positions that are going to decide the points champion. 3 weeks ago, they were tied, dead even going in. So it's going to be interesting. The cars to watch are going to be the 32 and the 67 as far as the points chase go. We've got a lot of cars to watch. There's probably 15 cars in this field of 25 cars that can win today. They have enough car to win, and it's going to be an interesting race. Let's just sit back and see what happens.
Certainly is going to be down to the wire, and here they come for the start. Rick Stein, number 83, takes the green flag on the pole. 25-lap Olin Export Street Stock main feature.
There was a good shot of the field going through. Rick Stein actually leading the main feature, and Rick Stein's came into his own. The car's a little bit tired. I think he's building a new car for next year, but he's a real good competitor, and he works hard at it. That 05 car, that's a guy that moved up from Dukes this year and comes out of Muscatauget Harbor, Robert Walsh, and he's having a good run. The 79 car is out of Sheet Harbor. That's Danny DeBay, the oil burner man. There's the 17 car, the old Dave Potter car, and he comes out of the Valley, and that's Richard Boyd. 1, 2, 3, and 4, that's your top 4. We've got Chris Ewing there and Brian Northrop side by side. That's not a combination you want to see side by side, Alana, but that's the way it is at this point. I see the 70 car, Terry Garden is there. So we got us a race brewing there now. So
3 wide.
3 wide. Rick Ackles in between Terry Garden and the 70, and Ewing in the 14. Now the 79 looks like Danny DeBay's taking over the lead going down the backstretch. He gets by Rick Stein, so Danny DeBay having his moment of glory.
It's good when these guys are all bunching up and fighting amongst themselves for positions. When a car can break open and get away early, that's what they want to do, to try to increase their lead while the rest of the guys are behind them battling.
Yeah, this is a good deal for Danny DeBay. He's having his moment of glory right now. And back there behind him, Richard Boyd looks like he's moved up into second spot, but they're dicing for positions back there. This is a good deal for Danny DeBay, as they do. There's Barry Hubley. Barry Hubley is a 2-3-year veteran of the street stock wars, and he's got a lot of experience, Barry Hubley, and he wasn't going to let them newer guys up there dice too long before he took advantage of it. So their little mistake probably, look there.
Yep.
A little bit high on the 79. Barry Hubley finds a hole, tucks it in on the bottom, and Barry Hubley is your new race leader.
And wouldn't these guys like to win the street stock main feature to win the points race anyway? Of course, we do have 1 week left to go, 1 weekend of racing this weekend. We have the street stock 100-lap race. That's always an exciting event. This is the last points race, though, and street stock main feature. Barry Hubley, 76, out in front.
Here we go, Lana. Good shot of the field as we pick all the cars there. 67, 32 sideways. Two cars separating them right now. So at this point in time, Henderson's doing what he has to do. He's keeping Elaine Vance in his sights.
That's right.
And that's what he has to do. He has to protect the championship. Henderson cannot go for the win today.
Lots of action. That's right. Lots of action all over the track. And Henderson is a smart, and he's going to use his head out there. He knows what he has to do, and as you said, he has to keep Elaine Vance in his sights and protect that championship, and he's sure going to be fighting hard to do that. But of course, anything can happen. These guys get together, bumping and going on. I tell you, it's always a battle out there in the street stocks.
Good shot of that Randy Jollymore prepared number 76. That's actually a Buick Regal car, Alana. That's 76, and there's the Chevelle of the 17, and the third place, I believe, is possibly not Danny DeBay anymore. I'm not sure. Look, 79 and Danny DeBay was third, but it looks like we may have hit a change there, and I just couldn't pick up the number as we went by.
Of course, you were mentioning the Randy Jollymore prepared Barry Hubley 76. Randy Jollymore getting a great reputation of being able to set up cars, build cars. He was always a top street stock driver that went on to modifieds. This year, only out a couple of times, but helping out a lot of guys out there.
He sure is, yeah. They prepare a lot of cars in that Jollymore shop. That 62 car, that's Sheldon Pemberton, one of the rookies from last season in the street stock division. Pemberton has worked his way up through the pack. He's breaking away early now, and he's working the outside of the track. And Pemberton's come a long way this year. He's come up through what he considers to be the school of hard knocks. He got a couple of what he thought was bad breaks, and but he's managed to maintain a top 5 points finish, and now he's working the outside of the track well, and he has really worked. There's Robert Tufts coming through. You see Robert Tufts 1 position ahead of Elaine Vance, and Henderson was back a couple. The 83, Rick Stein, your early race leader, just went into pits there, Atlanta, as we go by. Now Pemberton worked his way into 2nd spot there, and he's going to try and hunt down that Hubli car, because Pemberton's hungry for a win. He hasn't had a main feature win this season.
There was C62 Sheldon Pemberton, currently in 2nd place. 17 Richard Boyd in 3rd, and out in front still Barry Hubli. We don't see him on our screen right now. Of course, we had that points race later on in the field here. Cars still bunched up as they go by the front stretch.
Boy, Barry Hubli, he's just waved goodbye to these guys. He's on a race of his own.
Yeah.
He's out on a trip somewhere in
able to use the whole track.
So I don't know if Pemberton can see him in his sights or whatever, but he's got a good position of his own there. He's got no traffic around him. He can use whatever line he wants to use on the racetrack. So wherever his car's working, that's what he's going to do. And the same deal with the 17 car there. But see, the guys behind him there, that's the 05 we mentioned earlier. And the 14 is Chris Ewing. There's Ewing going down on the inside. He backs out a little bit. Here comes Robert Tufts working his way to the front. Robert Tufts on the outside of Chris Ewing, and in behind the Rob Walsh car. Tufts goes 3 wide going into turn 1. There's Robert Tufts up 3 wide on the outside of Robert Walsh and Chris Ewing. Elaine Vance, look at her following through. There's your Rookie of the Year leader to 65. That's
right.
Gordy Ryan. And your 3rd place points car is number 5 car there. And he's worked his way up to the front as well. And he's an ex-Duke driver out of Lake Charlotte, Darren Butcher, and he's working his way to the front. So this is a good deal for him. Your top 3 cars are all out there dicing. There's Tufts on the outside of Ewing going into 3 and 4, and Ewing and Tufts touch a little bit there, but Tufts manages to take the lead on him and get away. He's going to run him high up on the outside there. There's Ewing, there's Tufts. Ewing into him a little bit. Tufts goes around. Ewing spins him out in front of the field. There's Gordy Ryan scrambling. He spins out the 97 of John Fleming. 37, Rick Ackles up in, hits Ryan a ton. There's your 89, Carmen Christie up into the wall. And Gordy Ryan gets going, but Robert Tufts looks like he's got a problem. He's sideways on the track. And no, he's running now. But I think maybe the field has slowed down. Nobody's come back around. There's Tufts slowed down. The field coming through. 89 gets going again, Carmen Christie. There's Elaine Vance, Danny DeBay. But we're under yellow flag situation. We'll have to get them lined up and go again here, Atlanta.
You could kind of sense something was going to happen there. They were kind of dicing it up a little bit, and cars got together. Now we have a restart. Luckily, Peter Henderson, points leader, Elaine Vance, 2nd in points. They all got through that incident, and as the cars bunch up again, another restart. Barry Hubli on the pole. He's still your race leader. Robert Tufts makes his way back out for the restart.
Robert Tufts sits up on the top of turn 3 there as he came out of the pits after that little incident. He was in getting a few things straightened away, and he makes his way back out and takes the green flag without going down a lap. But an unfortunate deal for him. He'd worked his way into a top 5 position and got spun out after he worked his way through. There's Brian Northrop with a problem, and the field scrambles back there. Oh, man, we got a mess.
Pile up.
And there's Kevin McRae, Rick Ackles involved again in this one. There's the 81 of Charles White. We've seen finish 2nd earlier in the B feature. It looks like Northrop's got a real problem. I see a bunch of fluid and stuff under his car. So, no, that's actually body parts. So he coasts it down, but we've got a red flag situation. We'll have to get him lined up and going again. Northrop's got a flat tire. The back end of the car is beat up a little bit. There's Elaine Vance again. And Northrop is going to give some quick driving instructions or comments to the 17 car there, but without a doubt, his day is done.
Asking him out for a beer, probably.
Probably. There he throws a tire off the wheel, and it rolls down, and we'll get him lined up here shortly. There's your 05 car there again as he gets ready to go. That's Rob Walsh, and we're back to racing again. One more time, green flag time, Barry Hubli and Sheldon Pemberton side by side. Darren Butcher, John Fleming worked his way up now into the 4th spot, and there's Elaine Vance 5th. Let's see if we can find Henderson.
Barry Hubli, a race leader, coming off turn 4. Henderson right behind Elaine Vance, so he's right behind her. Again, he's about, as you mentioned, about 4 or 5 positions. He needs to protect that championship. Right now, he's doing that. Both Elaine Vance and Peter Henderson have avoided a couple of mishaps. Talk about great driving on a last points race. These guys are really keeping their eyes all over the track. Elaine Vance now moving on the inside of John Fleming as Sheldon Pemberton There we see in our screen, Barry Hubley is now in second spot. Darren Butcher moving on the inside, trying to take second away from Barry Hubley. Darren Butcher currently third place in points.
I think Hubley's car is going away from him, Elena. He must have had a tire size or resize or go away or lose some air pressure or whatever. But I noticed coming out of turn 2 there, when Pemberton got by him, he had the car sideways, and Pemberton took advantage of it. Last time through with Butcher there, the 76 car kicked out again a little bit coming out. There's Butcher going. Look, see the car?
Yeah.
Just drifts in the back end there, so he's got a tire problem. But that's a good break for Butcher and Sheldon Pemberton. Now they're 1 and 2, and look, Elaine Vance has moved up into third spot, and she's bringing John Fleming, and there's Peter Henderson, 5th place, so he's only 1 spot back behind her.
As we see the rest of the field coming by in this last points race for the Olin Export Street Stocks. We have a major championship race underway here. Here we have your leader, number 62, Sheldon Pemberton, still out in front, able to use the whole track now as he tries to break away. Number 5, Darren Butcher, currently in second place. Battling for third, we have, trying to pick him up on the screen.
Like she was trying to
there
take
she
over
is.
third place, and she did take over third place. Either she was trying to take it over or trying to protect it, and John Fleming tucked back in. I'm not sure which. But there it is, checkered flag time, and it's Pemberton, Butcher, Elaine Vance, John Fleming, the Barry Hubley car, and Peter Henderson, I believe, 6th. So that's going to tighten the points up a little bit, Alana, but I think when the final tally comes out, Peter Henderson will be the champion.
Provide the fans a lot of excitement coming down the stretch for the points race. Last street stock points race, Sheldon Pemberton takes first place. Darren Butcher comes in second. Elaine Vance finishes in third.